Creative. My name is Michelle and I garden in Northern Virginia in Zone 7A. I recently ordered some seeds from a couple different places and some gardening supplies, and I thought I'd go ahead and open those packages with you guys. The first package is from Johnny's Seeds, so let's open it up and see what I ordered. Okay, so first up, I ordered some more poppies. If you saw my video where I was preparing the cutting garden for spring, I put poppy seeds down and then I covered them, and I don't think they're going to get enough sun to germinate. So what I did is I just reordered my poppy seeds from Johnny's and from Baker Creek, and I'm going to go out actually today after I do this video and re-sow those on top of the snow and the soil. So just I got Champagne Bubbles White for the yellow bed because the insides are a really pretty yellow. And then I have Champagne Bubbles Orange for the orange bed. Champagne Bubbles looks like they get about 15 to 20 inches high, so they will be closer to the front of both of those beds. And then I got Ruby Moon Hyacinth Bean. So a few years ago, I watched Chip and Joanna Gaines where they did a fixer-upper, I think, on Joanna's garden, and it's this beautiful enclosed kitchen garden. It even has like a stone structure in it. It's absolutely beautiful. And they had all these, I think they were bamboo teepees, or maybe they were a little more stable, probably so. But anyway, they had these teepees with these beautiful vines on them. And when I went and looked it up, they were purple hyacinth bean vines. So I tried to grow them one year. It didn't work out so well because I just put like a couple in just a little kind of a container like this big, and it just wasn't the right environment. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to try and get cattle panels and put them at various places in the cutting garden. So it's symmetrical on either side, but put these cattle panels up so that my vines, vines can grow up and over, so I can make a little better use of my space, because I don't have a lot of space. My garden is small. My cutting garden and vegetable garden is pretty small, and I don't have a lot of sun in my yard. I have a big yard, well, for where I live anyways. I have about an acre, but it's mostly wooded, and I'm not taking down any of my oak trees or tulip poplars or anything like that. That's all for the wildlife. So I have to make do with the space that I have. So that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to go vertical, and I'm going to do that with these hyacinth bean vines. I'll be talking about this a little bit more, but I want to get even more into food. So really, I grow herbs, and I grow cherry tomatoes, and maybe I'll experiment with, some other vegetables from time to time, but I really want to get into more food sustainability and growing more food for my family. And yeah, I don't have a lot of space, like I just said, so I'm going to have to get creative. But so these three packets here from Johnny's so this one is Aromado Basil. This one is edible, and it also can be used in as a cutting flower. This one is Mrs. Burns Lemon Citrus Basil. I'll probably use this in cuttings. And then finally, I have purple basil. I just really love purple basil. I had a whole container of purple basil last year, and I never used it for eating or anything. I just liked the smell in the garden and the look in the garden. Okay, and so the last packet that I ordered from Johnny's is called the salt and pepper pickle. So my husband loves pickles, and I've been trying to grow cucumbers for the past couple years, and I just don't pay attention to my vegetables sometimes, and I'm gonna really work hard on that this year. I pay more attention to my native plants and the flowers in my cutting garden, so I'm just gonna work really hard this year on my vegetables. I was watching one of Jess's videos from Roots and Refuge Farm, and she highly recommended the silver slicer cucumber. So I have silver slicer. So I have silver slicer seeds, and I will grow those this year. But I was reading somewhere else, I can't even remember, I think it was like another YouTube channel that said, if you like silver slicer, then you're also gonna like salt and pepper. I can't remember specifically where I found it, but apparently the salt and pepper cucumbers are like the silver slicers, but even better for pickling. So being that my husband loves pickles, I'd really love to do a pickle at some point. I love pickles too, but anyway, so that's why I got the salt and pepper cucumbers. Next up, I have my package from Baker Seed Heirloom Seeds, or I think they're rareseeds.com. They have the most beautiful catalogs and beautiful seed packets. They have things that other people don't. So anyway, I'm really excited about this package, and look how pretty this package is. You see that? Amazing Chinese pink celery, the world's most beautiful and tasty celery from ancient China. Oh, nice. I wonder if that's the free seed packet. Oh, beautiful seed packets. You know, that's the one thing about Johnny's seed packets, is they're all plain and they all look the same. And I mean, you know, Johnny's has some good stuff and everything, but oh my gosh, I'm such a sucker for pretty seed packets. Okay, so I may turn the camera off for a minute so I can organize my seeds. Okay, I have my Baker Creek seeds organized. So the first group I have here are all the poppies. So like I said, with the Johnny seeds, I think that I accidentally planted my poppy seeds are planted underneath compost and fall leaves, so I don't think they have enough light to germinate. So I just reordered everything. So this one is the giant rattle poppy. I think this is also called like bread and something. I don't know, but anyway, there you go. So this one will go in the back of my pink bed. And then I ordered new Poppy Supremes for the pink bed as well. There's only like, I think, 25 seeds in each one of these packs. So I only had one pack before, so I ordered 3 this time. And then I also have American Legion Poppy for the red bed. And then I found these ones. I don't think I had these ones before. This is called a Ladybird Poppy. So after I'm done videoing today, all the replacement poppy seeds will be going out in the cutting garden. So next up are the tomatoes I ordered from Baker Creek. The first one is Paul Robeson, a Russian variety lovingly named for the famous opera singer Paul Robeson. Amazing flavor that is distinctive, sweet, and smoky. 7 to 10 ounce fruit is in a red brick color. Next up is another tomato that Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm plants, and it is Dr. Witchy's yellow tomato. And this says it's a standout heirloom from the late Dr. John Witchy. The 1 pound glowing tangerine orange fruit is solid and smooth textured, tropical, sweet taste, heavy yields, productive. So I'm really looking forward to this one because I've heard about this one for a few years. And then the last tomato that I purchased from Baker Creek is called the Black Strawberry. And I think this one was on the cover of one of their catalogs, and I think they did a lot of promoting these seeds because they are so cool looking, and I just couldn't help myself. So I had to order them. So it's called the Tomato Black Strawberry, and they just look absolutely beautiful. So it says 1 ounce fruit is marbled blue, scarlet, and gold. A bowl full resembles a luminous bunch of gems. You know, I remember reading that and thinking I need to have this tomato. And the flower is decadent and indulgent with perfect sweet and tart balanced flavor, extremely productive early, obvious choice for gardeners and market farmers. Yeah, super excited about this one. Okay, so those are all the tomatoes from Baker Creek. Okay, so next up are 2 types of kale. So thinking about food sustainability and growing more food for my family and just getting better at growing food all over. You know, everybody says grow what you eat, and so I'm really excited to actually grow some kale. I like kale in smoothies mainly, but I do want to try a kale sauteed with butter and garlic and things like that. I've heard that's good as well, but so we'll see. So I got two types of kale. One is the dinosaur kale. So kale, this one's called Kale Nero de Toscana. And it says fabulous Italian heirloom that dates back to at least the 1820s. Beautiful deep black green leaves to 24 inches long, heavily savoyed, unique and stunning. So as far as I know, this is supposed to be the dinosaur kale, hopefully. Okay, and then the next one is Russian red, or also known as ragged jack kale. This one looks really pretty. So, and I'm excited about some of these cool weather plants because I'll have some color in the beds when typically I don't. So this one says, a favorite all-purpose kale variety with an eye-catching color and form. Russian red is very tender and mild at any size, but especially well suited to baby greens. The oak-type leaves of this pre-1885 heirloom variety have a red tinge. So it looks like for the kale, and I'm in Virginia Zone 7A, that I will plant these. Maybe I'll start these indoor, and I'll start these indoor 4 weeks before my last frost date, and my last frost date is April 18th. So the middle of March, I may give these a start. I may even start them sooner because I almost think we're a 7B here at this point, but anyway, mid-March, that's what I'm gonna plan for. Okay, so next up, some beans, some bush beans. I was looking for the Tanya's purple pod beans, and I couldn't find it anywhere where I was gonna get a lot of other seeds, so being cheap as I am, I didn't wanna pay like $5 shipping for a $2 bag of seeds. So anyway, Baker Creek, because they have all these really amazing looking seeds, they have this red swan bush bean, and it looks so pretty. The flowers look pretty, the fruits look pretty. Here you go. Red, not purple, pods on very early bush plants. Tolerates cold soil and weather. Okay, so then for the spring, so the instructions here are to direct seed after last frost. And then you have to soak these overnight. Pick frequently, succession plant for prolonged harvest. It says they tolerate cool soil. So I'm wondering, can I plant them before my last frost? I don't know. I may do some research on that. Anyway, red swan bush beans. And then the two free seed packets that I got from Baker Creek are a Merlot lettuce, reputed to be the darkest red lettuce in existence, frilly leafy margins, crisp waxy leaves, recommended as a cutting type for baby greens production or cut and come again harvesting. I want to do a lot of cut and come again harvesting for lettuce because we eat a lot of salad, especially in the summer. So this will be perfect. Thank you, Baker Creek. And then a carrot. See, I don't think I have the right soil or the right temperament to deal with carrots. I got a free carrot packet from Baker Creek, I think in the fall, and they're these little Parisian carrots, which I definitely am going to try, because for carrots, I'm pretty sure you have to have like really, really soft soil. Maybe soft isn't the right word. No, soft. Your carrots don't want any obstructions, or then they start splitting, or they come in odd shapes. We've all seen those on the internet. So anyway, maybe I'll try them, maybe I won't, but this is Carrot St. Valerie. A very old French variety, handsome, large, bright red orange, 10 to 12 inch roots, Smooth, sweet, and tender, our favorite. Well, we'll see about that one. Okay, so those are the seeds from Baker Creek. These seed packets are so pretty. Okay, last week I went to the local nursery near me called Merrifield, and I ran in there to get something, and I can't remember what it was. I know it wasn't seed packets. Anyway, I came home with a lot of seed packets, so let me show you those. Okay, I've organized all my seeds from the local nursery. Just again, I went into, okay, now, what are you doing?
I was just kidding.
It's okay. So I went into Merrifield to get something, can't remember what it was, and I came out with all these seeds. I'm gonna start with the tomatoes. First one is the Super Sweet 100 tomato. It says you'll pick buckets of these tasty cherry tomatoes. Super Sweet 100 has a delicious balance of sweetness with true tomato flavor, resistant to, I can't see that far away, resistant to something and something. Two different types of wilt. Anyway, I purchased an already plant, a super sweet plant a couple years ago from a local farm market, and I ate off of that plant all summer long, and these were so good. I didn't have any last year because I took up all my cherry tomato space with like all these specialty tomatoes, so I'm happy that I'm going to be growing this one again this year. And then this one is Botanical Interest Pole Cherry Sun Gold. I'm not really sure what the pole cherry is, but it says intensely sweet little drops of golden summer goodness. Sun Gold is one of our most loved and requested tomatoes. So I grew Sun Gold last year, and I really liked them, so I figured I'd go ahead and do them again. But I didn't do the Botanical Interest, and I don't remember them saying like pole cherry. So I don't know, it might just be like ignorance on my part. They might be the same thing. And then finally from Merrifield, I got the tomato mortgage lifter just because I hear all about mortgage lifter, and I'd really like a lot of tomato sandwiches this summer. So here's mortgage lifter, and it says this old timer produces 1 pound meaty tomatoes with few seeds. Well-shaped fruits with dark pink skins. A story goes that the farmer sold so many plants that he was able to pay off his mortgage on his house. Perfect for slicing. Okay, super excited about this one. So I think that I'm saying I'm super excited about this one after every single seed packet. It's that time of year, right? Okay, so then I just have 2 large seed packets from Botanical Interest, and this is the lettuce mesclun, and both of them are, and one is the Farmer's Market blend and one is the Chef's Choice. So grow your own baby greens with this tantalizing mix blend of 6 varieties, a pretty mix with varied textures, shapes, and colors, gourmet salads, yet easy to grow. So they're both pretty much similar, it looks like. I don't know, we'll see, but I want a lot of lettuce because I want a lot of salad. Okay, so then I have the more the cold hardy type vegetables. So I got another packet of red Russian kale from Botanical Interest. Even though I knew that my Baker Creek seeds were on order, it's like I can't help myself when seeds are around. So I have a second package from Botanical Interest. Then these ones will go out. I'll start these ones inside 6 weeks before, so 6 weeks before April 18th, which would be, I'm gonna say that's March 1st. So I will start these ones March 1st inside. Then we have Sugar Magnolia Snap Peas. This is a purple snappy, tender and delicious. Sugar Magnolia isn't just a famous Grateful Dead song, it's also beautiful, fine flavored, edible pod pea with purple flowers. These ones are also going to go out are going to be planted. These ones will also be planted the beginning of March 1st, and they will be sown directly outdoors. Whereas the kale, looks like the kale, they recommend to do it indoors. Okay, and then broccoli rabe. It's called rapini. Known as Italian broccoli, rapini has delicate tender shoots with a spicy flavor and edible leaves. So there's that broccoli rabe. My daughter loves broccoli, so this will be really great to have. And then I will sow these directly outside the beginning of March. Okay, so this is a brand new vegetable to me, rutabaga. I've never had it, but I was watching Roots and Refuge Farm, and she grew these, and she said they're just so much like a potato. I think she said that anyway. And if I'm not mistaken, you can even mash them up like mashed potatoes, but I think they're less carbohydrates or something like that. But anyway, if you guys have any information about rutabagas, I'd love to hear in the comments. So this is delicious, firm, sweet roots are a must for hearty soups and casseroles. Easy to grow, excellent storage crop. So there you go, excellent storage crop, food sustainability. I gotta learn more about it. Okay, and then this one is I'm gonna sow this one in the late winter. So I actually might sow this one middle of February outside. And here they are, rutabagas. And then the last cold hardy vegetable will be the radishes. And I'm like so embarrassed to admit this, but I have yet to grow a radish. And like, I know that's the first thing people learn to grow radishes because they're supposed to be so easy. But I will say, in my defense, that every year, I think I start them so late, and it warms up so fast in Virginia that they just like don't do well. So this year, I'm going to follow the instructions, and I'm going to sow them 4 to 6 weeks before your average last frost date. I am going to sow these guys March the 1st. And I'm going to have radishes this year because we love roasted vegetables, and I really want to try roasted radishes. These are the French breakfast variety that I heard are really good from Botanical Interests. So cross your fingers on that. Okay, so then I wanted to do even more herbs this year than I did last year. I'm starting to up my game in cooking, so I'm using some different herbs these days and ones that I actually planted, so that's great. So I have some broadleaf sage. It's just sage. And then I have the Genovese basil. I need to check my other envelope of basil. It just says basil on it. I don't think it says Genovese, but I need to double check because I keep growing it every year and it tastes like licorice, and I can't stand licorice, but other basil that I had doesn't taste like licorice. So I gotta figure that all out. But anyway, I wanted to get the specific, the Genovese, it's the traditional basil that you grow with tomatoes and all that kind of stuff, because I don't know what I've been growing for the past couple of years. Anyway, something that I do want to do with this basil is people do, I've seen on the interwebs where people will freeze their pesto in ice cube trays. I think that's such a great idea. So definitely going to want to try that. And just because for some reason I have a basil obsession this year, because I don't know why, I got dark opal basil. The reason why, I don't know, okay? And then I got a different kind of purple basil called Purple Petra. Again, I just saw it and had to have it. Then I got sweet Thai basil. I think the Epic Homestead, I think he grows sweet Thai basil all the time, and I was thinking maybe it was African basil. I don't know. If somebody knows the difference, please put it in the comments. But anyway, it looks more like this. And so I'm growing this one too. And a basil that I will never ever be without is holy basil, or Tulsi, I think, basil. I will never have a garden without that basil again. And I'm gonna grow so much of it and put it everywhere because I don't eat it, but the smell is amazing. The smell is so amazing. And I love the smell so much. I went on Amazon and I ordered some holy basil essential oil, and it just didn't like cut it. Like, it didn't have that smell that I had on my fresh, plants. But anyway, I'm gonna do holy basil. I already have the seeds in the cutting garden, on my deck, everywhere I can put it. And I highly recommend you grow some too, because it's just a pleasure to walk by it and your leg brushes up against it and you get a whiff of that beautiful aroma. It just can't be beat. And then finally, I got this this envelope of thyme, and it says winter thyme. I don't know how that's any different from regular thyme. Oh, that's what I wanted to look up on the internet, and that's why I have my computer next to me. Hold on one second. Okay, so I just looked it up. I have thyme, and I don't know if it's wintertime or summertime, but apparently summertime, the herb, is French, and wintertime, the herb, is German, and the winter is hardy. It's a hardy perennial, and maybe the summertime isn't. I don't know. I just wanted, I kind of got this herb more for the pollinators, more for the flowers, for the pollinators. And I also got, this is the only flower seed packet that I got, which is, I find amazing, because that never happens. I don't think that's ever happened. Okay, so this is Tiny Tim Sweet Alyssum. You'll probably know what Sweet Alyssum is. But anyway, just tiny, teeny tiny little white flowers. It just kind of looks like snow. And what I like to do with alyssum in my cutting garden is I like to plant it along the edges of the beds. So like if I'm walking in, all the edges that I kind of like walk into will have it planted, and have it just kind of grow over the sides, and it just looks so pretty. And the little teeny bees, sweat bees, and the tiny pollinators just cover these alyssum flowers. So it's great for a pollinator garden. Okay, and then two other that are more summer type vegetables, summer fall type vegetables. I have from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, I got the Royal Purple Pod Snap Bean. And so this one I will put, I think I'm putting this one directly in the ground, right at my last frost date. And then I'm going to sow successions of it every 3 weeks. We eat a ton of beans in this family, like green beans. So I really want to not have to buy them this summer. So we'll see how that goes. And then here's another seed. I have no idea why I felt like I needed to buy it, but I did. And it's acorn. It's an acorn table queen winter squash. And this one I will plant out, I think, right at the last frost date. So middle to late April. There's that. Okay, so that's acorn. I don't even think I've had acorn squash before, but we'll see. See what it tastes like. Okay, so I'm gonna put all these away. Oh my gosh, I don't, like, if you see my cutting garden videos, you know my cutting garden is tiny. Like, where is all this gonna go? There's gonna be a lot of interplanting this year, because I'm thinking, in between my, and this is just totally experimental, and if you think I'm doing something completely crazy, let me know. But, in between my summer cutting flowers, like the dahlias and the zinnias I don't know if you can hear, but my dog is dreaming in the background. But anyway, I was thinking of doing like onions. Oh, that's the other thing. I'm going to run over to Merrifield probably tomorrow morning and get onions so that I can go ahead and winter sow now. I'm saving all my strawberry containers to do some winter sowing for some of those types of things. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so like I'll do lettuce in between the dahlias and the zinnias, because when I've tried to do lettuce before, we just get so hot and I can't give that crop enough shade. Like, which brings up a point, because I have so much shade, maybe I need to find a place to do a shady vegetable garden. Okay, I'm gonna put that on the list. So things like onions and, well, I have to look up onions, but definitely vegetables like lettuce that want the shade, or maybe radishes, different things like that. I'm going to put in with the flowers so that they don't get the high heat and humidity and all that kind of stuff. Well, they'll probably get humidity because they'll be interplanted, but the high heat that we get in the summer, and maybe I'll be able to grow some of those vegetables for a little longer, or actually even at all, because I haven't been very successful in the past. So we'll see. Okay, so the final thing that I want to show you today is I placed an order with Bootstrap Farmer. If you watched my other video about preparing Jack and the pulpit seeds from the seed heads, I showed you a container from Bootstrap Farm. It was like a 5x5 container with holes in it, and how durable and how thick and heavy duty the plastic is. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I can't stand plastic, but it's everywhere, and it's just everywhere. And I'm trying as hard as I can to limit my use of plastic or throwing away plastic. So I've been ordering some what's it called? They're called flood trays, I think. Anyway, just like the 10x20s without any holes, so that I can water from beneath for little, seed packs and stuff like that. And that's working great, because the crappy plastic ones that I purchased before always would fall apart whenever I was moving around. So I'm really excited about some of this Bootstrap Farmer stuff, that maybe I can just like work my way down to just having this heavy duty plastic stuff that I know that I can use for many years. So anyway, I placed another order from Bootstrap Farmer, and this is it. And I got a couple things here. Okay, if you guys get any of this out of your packaging, this can go in your compost, or you can fold it nicely, or just unravel it all and put it on the ground, and then like in your garden beds in between your plants, and then cover it with compost or mulch, and it's a weed barrier. So you can use it as browns in your compost, or you can use it as weed barriers in your garden beds, which I do. Okay. Ooh, okay, so the first thing I got, is it the right side up? Okay, yeah, is a seedling heat mat. Okay, and let me tell you why. In my basement, I have one little section which is where I grow all my seeds in the winter, the things that I do so before the last frost, and that's not cold hardy. So anyway, I ran into a couple plants last year that didn't do well, because I think the room would stay maybe like 68 or something like that. And a couple of the plants really needed a little bit more heat to germinate. I know ground cherries were one of them, and the black-eyed Susan vine, I think, was another one. Don't quote me on that. So I just want to have this heat mat for any of those flowers or vegetables that I run into that need just a little teeny bit more heat to get that germination to happen. So This is the first time I've ever had one of these seedling heat mats. Okay. More composting material, a weed barrier. And just a note, like I do the same thing with cardboard, and I take the tape off of the cardboard and I'll put it down, and especially when I'm making new raised beds, which I'll link to how I do that. So that's what I do. I love doing that. It works really well for me, but you know, just so you know, some people don't necessarily like it because they say like there's glue in the cardboard or whatever. I don't know. It's worked really well for me because I'm kind of like a one-woman operation here. So to do like the heavy labor is intense. So being able to just throw down some cardboard and throw some wood chips over top, oh my gosh, it makes things so easy. So first up from Bootstrap Farmer, or no, not first up, second up. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about these. I can't even stand it. Look, their tape even is green. How cute. Okay, so I got these 6 packs. They're the normal size, like 6 cell planters. Oh my gosh, can this tape already? Okay. Just the normal 6 cell planters, just the normal size, but this stuff is super heavy duty. I'm gonna be able to use this forever, like forever. I'm so excited. And a lot of the cutting garden plants and vegetables and things like that, I'll definitely be starting in here. So I got a pack of, I think of 50. Don't tell my husband. Okay. So next up, I was talking about the flood trays that I like to use because I like to water most things from the bottom. So I really like having things like this, and then like deep cell seed trays, although those are really, okay, so if Bootstrap Farmer's listening, if you can make deep cell, like I think 5-inch deep cell seed trays with like, I think there's like 32 or 50 or something like that in each one of the flats in this heavy duty material, which I heard is now made in the USA. Thank you very much. That would be ideal, just because I like to do the deep cell flats for my native plants because they usually will stay in their cells in these little planters much longer than the annuals, the cutting garden flowers and the vegetables and stuff like that. Okay, so anyway, Bootstrap Farmer, if you're listening, I kind of don't remember ordering these. Like I knew I wanted more of them, but I don't remember ordering this many. Not to say that Bootstrap Farmer made an error, no. It's just I probably got a little carried away because of how much I love these things. These are the trays I use. So what I do is I fill this up with water almost to the top, and then I will put anything in here that I have that I'm planting, you know, that has holes in the bottom of it. So it might be one of those deep cell seed trays that I just mentioned, which fit in here perfectly. So I just fill it up with water, put the seed in there, or the seed flat in there, and you know, get it watered. And this is so heavy duty that it can deal with the weight of the water and the seed flat. So the cheap ones that I have been buying up until now can't. And so when I lift it up, like this part of it goes out and it cracks right here. And so then what I do is I get my husband to make holes in it, and then I change the use of that so I don't have to just throw it away and then maybe put some tape on it. But these I'm going to be able to use forever. So it looks like I bought 10. Oh, I bought 10 of these. Oh, so happy about this. And I have more composting material in the box, which I am not going to complain about. Yeah, so the other day, oh, I know where I found out about the Made in the USA. So I also follow Whispering Willow Farm, and she just did a special like run or special line of little pots in a color scheme that she really likes with Bootstrap Farmer. Like they partnered up to do that, and they're really cute, by the way. So maybe I'll link to her video that she talked about it below. Oh yeah, in that video she had said, she was mentioning something about the process, and they had been working on it for a year and it had been a long time, but like part of the reason it had been a long time was because they moved their operations from China to the US. I believe that's correct. Anyway, so I thought that was really great to hear as well. So anyway, this is the last thing that came in my Bootstrap Farmer box. These are my flood trays, which I use constantly. I always have plants in flood trays. And actually out in the, so in front of my cutting, or to the side of my cutting garden, I have these, they're supposed to be cold frames, but we call them hot frames because my husband built them for me in the summer. And so I just used it to move all my seed flats to, I just use it so where I could move all my seed flats so I could walk around without worrying about, you know, harming, like worrying about, you know, bodily injury, like tripping over something and impaling myself in the cutting garden. So I was able to move all those seed flats into these hot frames. And for some of the native plants, or any plants, you know, some plants like really boggy conditions, or they can just like sit in puddles. That's like their preferred way. So I have, I think it's summer sweet and button bush, and so I use one of these in there, and it's the only one that's like that. But I put the summer sweet and the button bush in here, and then the water is there all the time. The other seed flats might be in something like this, but there's holes in it so that the water doesn't build up. And just a note, in the summer, you probably want to put, if you do something like that, you probably want to use those BT bits or something to keep the mosquitoes down. We get tons of mosquitoes here in Northern Virginia, and it actually is a reason why I did my 2 whiskey barrel ponds, is because I wanted to bring so many more dragonflies to the yard to eat the mosquitoes, which I think actually happened last year. I am convinced of it, but so I'm excited to see what happens this year. Although keeping the raccoons out of my whiskey barrel ponds is a problem. I'm gonna have to figure out a new system with those next year to protect them. But anyway, so this is my latest gardening materials haul. I'm super excited about everything here. I'm really excited about the growing season. I'll probably do another video of like all the other seeds that I'm going to be growing this year that just didn't come, you know, this year. I've had them, but like, it's really funny. My family calls that my seed packets my Pokemon cards, and I'll probably be organizing, reorganizing, I don't know, 1,000 times before the season starts. But yeah, so excited for this growing season. I'm really excited about the food aspect of my growing season. I have a lot of things also going, you know, with the cutting garden and the native plants and stuff, but well, okay, so my camera battery died at the end of the last video, and I think all I needed to do was wrap it up. So the point of today was just to go over the seeds that I've received recently from Baker Creek, from Johnny's, my Bootstrap Farmer haul, and just talk about what I'm looking to do with vegetables this growing season, which is a lot more, and to force myself to get better at vegetables and be a little more food sustainable here at my house and have food growing for my family throughout the summer. So if I misspoke at all about any of the vegetables, please excuse any mistakes. And if you have any information that you want to share about growing vegetables, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from people who have more experience with vegetables than I do to help me get kickstarted this year. So if this content appeals to you, please consider giving me a like and or a subscribe, or share with your gardening friends. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to me ramble on about seeds and what I'm going to be doing with my garden. I will see you again next time.